Hello, hello, everyone. Um, ooh, big topic today. I wanted to share it as it's something that's coming up in my life, and maybe it'll bring some awareness for others. And I'm doing it while I'm driving because as I channel a lot of what I carry, if I can get my physical body and part of my brain involved in my activity, of this, the rest comes through unobstructed, and I find I give a much clearer message. So I'm not trying to avoid looking at people, but I'm just love the flow that comes in that. So the topic today, I called it a noodle popper because it can really change your perspective on a lot of things. What do we think is good, and what do we think is bad? And how does that come? So we need to drill down a little bit. So good is basically just pardon me, a label based on a bunch of our societal programming or our religious beliefs or our parents' beliefs or something that's come from your personal experience. So this is bad because it hurt me and it didn't feel good, or this is bad because it hurts other people, or it tears them down or gives them trauma. But this is good because it's all love and it's all from makes me feel happy and other things. So if we start to drill down on what gives the label good or bad, we have to look at our perspective, how we learned, how we grew up, what our stories are, what experiences we've had, what traumas we've had, and then we'll start to label things good or bad, and then we'll put degrees to them. Now, if you ask another person, you're going to find out that we don't always align on what's good or bad. Some people from one religious group may say, oh, it's bad to eat meat on uh, Fridays. That's the Catholic religion. But other people would say, hey, that's great. I love to eat meat. And why would my religion do that? Uh, and then if we start going down, it's like, okay, this is hurting people. We could talk about the V and, oh, this hurt people. But there's a whole other group that says it's good. It's making people safe and it's protecting our medical system. So what I want you to do today as you're walking around is start to drill down on what defines something as good or bad. And what you're going to find out is that once you start to be aware is that it's a judgment. Okay, I judge this as bad or I judge this as good. Now, with the frame of reference that we just had, some people are going to say that's good. Some people are going to say that same thing is bad. Who's right? Who's wrong? It's all based on a past experience or a learned experience or religion or something. So once you start to become aware that good and bad is a judgment based on our experience, is it truly good or is it truly bad in a collective sense? We're not going to know. So now add to that something that's the noodle popper. Let's say every experience that we have or things that are good and bad are happening for somebody's highest good. So sometimes the dark night of the soul requires us to have a trauma or an abuse or some other thing happen to us. Who are we to judge what somebody else has brought in to help them awaken, to ascend? Sometimes they need to frickin' get hammered with a hammer and be beat to nothing and feel small. And advanced people that are in this process, you're going to know that the things that were the hardest and the darkest were the things that made you make a choice. So if we start to begin to walk in the world with the perspective that something we may see as hurting people could also be that thing that's stapling them to a dark night of the soul, is pushing them to make a choice. So is it bad now, even though it's labeled bad? You had it and it hurt and now you call it bad, but maybe they need it. So if we start thinking with this wider perspective that everything's happening in the universe, in our world, in our news, all the darkness, all the malevolence, all this kind of stuff is pushing certain people to a certain awakening, an ascension. So if you are to stop it, or you try to fix it, or you rebel against it, are you not hurting another person by forcing them to either get darker or have a worse experience or whatever? If you look at it this way and look at everything's happening in this universe for the highest good of someone, no matter how dark it is, things change. And then what pushes bad into evil? Well, it hurts people, and it's hurting a lot of people, and it's hurting children, and it's malevolent, and all this stuff. Well, if we're all part of God, a fraction of God, God is a balance of dark and light. If it wasn't part of God, then we're assessing that there is no God or no higher presence or source. And then we block half of our possibility out, half of the experience. We wander around judging all these experiences. This is evil, this is dark, and then we rebel against it. And we just sit in this energy of resistance to what is, which is essentially the definition of struggle. So if we start to acknowledge that good and bad is a label based on our past experience, and that bad for one person may be exactly what they need in this moment. And if you delve deep, you're going to see that some dark things happened to you and you needed them. If somebody came in as your savior and fixed it for you and took it away before you got your full understanding, would your soul not be angry? So look with a new frame of reference that everything that's happening has a purpose. It's forcing people to wake up. It's forcing people to rebel. It's forcing people as they ascend to go through these stages where they have to beat up and protect and save. And then you move through it, and then you start to realize that that thing was exactly what was needed to help these people ascend. This was exactly what was needed to move humanity forward. Is it now evil? It's part of God. It's part of you. It's part of the experience. It's part of what we need to pop our noodle so that we are no longer seeing the world as a human being. We're seeing the world as a source fragment, as part of God. We're starting to now accept everything and be self-responsible for it. That had to happen. I don't know what it's for. Yes, it makes me feel icky and stuff inside, but that can be light. I've always said the darkest dark is the lightest light. Well, evil is the lightest light, and it's probably happening to millions of people. That's a Hitler. That's a World War II. That's that's all the stuff that's going on right now. We're in this place of accepting that there's a higher purpose to every experience. And if we start to accept that, if we start to acknowledge that, then our struggle goes away. Then us having to shift, having to fix it. Oh, this has to change before I can feel good about myself, or waiting for the world to clean itself up before you can move forward has to go away, because it's all perfect no matter what it is. So a judgment of good or bad, go into it. Oh, this is bad. Oh, well, what if it's helping that person? What if people are being forced into a realization by this thing that's really dark and potentially labeled evil, but it's got a light underneath it? It needed to come to make a change. Change does not come without a huge amount of force, especially when we're so comfortable and safe in who we are, and a world that's supposedly protecting us, and governments and all this kind of stuff. Look underneath. Once you get rid of that struggle of fighting what is, of accepting everything in self. Sorry, I slipped out. Once you accept that self-responsibility, magic happens. No longer do you get frustrated so easy. No longer, you just see a divine light in everything. And it's not all about love and light and just accepting everything that it is. You still are making a self-choice inside to say, I'm going to accept this in my world. I'm going to want to be like this, or I'm not going to want to be like this. This is the other choice. We're getting discernment and refinement of, yikes, why would I ever do that to a person? Well, sometimes you're the bad guy in the show. Sometimes you are poking people because you have a contract or whatever that brings them out. You guys are warred together. They're poking you back. This is all part of the human experience. So all I ask is, look at your label of good or bad And if it's bad, is it possible that it's good for someone in some dark way? It's forcing them to change. And then look at it again and relabel it. Is it bad? Is it evil? What's evil? Why does it have to be evil? Why do we label it that? Because we can't change it? Well, the quicker we accept it, the quicker we can make new choices and new can come. So just keep this in mind. It's big, it's massive. The more we start to accept that we're God and everything is right and everything is good, the more we are free. So hopefully this helps, and dig on it. You're going to feel it. It's an energetic transmission. Send it to your friends, and let's get this perspective out there so people can be free. And it's not about chasing and fighting in a war or a rebellion. It's about opening ourselves. And once it changes in ourselves, our reality changes and everything's better. So I love you. Thank you all for listening, and you have a great day.